Okay, so we're going to get started on the how-to of this book right here. Carl Flesch's Basic Studies are a really great workout for the hand, and we have a 30-day challenge of trying to include one of these every day in your practice. So it's about a 3 to 5 minute challenge here. And one of the first things we're going to do is we're actually going to do a simplified version because it segues nicely into the more advanced version. So this is actually the first version I ever learned how to play in one of my first lessons, actually. So what you're going to do is you're going to place all 4 fingers on one string, like this. And I'm going to just go with A string here. Now some of these, I might do some of these in 3rd position because after demonstrating these so many times, my hand might get a little tired. But I'll start in 1st, and I'm in C major. Now what you want to do in the simplified version is to lift the finger, and you're going to lift the finger up as high as it can go, and you're going to bring it back down on the same string. So this is what makes this simplified. We're not using 2 strings here. We're just staying on the A string, and we're lifting and we're dropping. And we're going to lift and drop your first finger 8 times. After you go through all 8 of those, I'm not going to demonstrate all 8, you're going to go to the 2nd finger. Now when you do the 2nd finger, your 1st, 3rd, and 4th finger are going to stay down on the string. This of course is what makes it so tiring to do. So you're going to leave them on the string, and you're going to lift the 2nd finger, and you're going to place that down, and you're going to lift and place 8 times. You'll do that while keeping 3 fingers planted and the 4th finger, whichever finger that is, lifting and dropping 8 times until you go through all 4 of your fingers. You can do this on all 4 strings if you can. If the 1st string is tiring enough, just stick with that for a little while and add on as you get stronger. Now, one of the things that I've had my students say when I assign them this is they'll say, I did all 4 strings and I repeated it 4 times and it was really easy and I'm not tired at all. And so that immediately makes me think they're probably not doing it correctly, because it is tiring to do this correct. So I usually have them do it, and some of the problems that they are facing have to do with either hand position, where they're just sort of collapsing the hand so they're not working to keep the hand out. So you want to make sure for the violin and violist, they should be keeping their wrist straight. Adam will also demonstrate this on the cello, just for cellists who want to see what it would look like on the cello fingerboard. Another thing that I see all the time is that the student is only touching the string. They are not pushing the string down. They're not using pressure to get the string down to the fingerboard. You do not want to press very hard here. It's only enough pressure that you would, if you were bowing, you would get a good sound. So that's not as much as people think. You don't have to press very hard for that. It's pretty gentle, but the string does have to be touching the fingerboard in order to get that sound. Your finger and the string both should be touching the fingerboard, so make sure that you're doing that. Another thing is that they barely lift their finger up. They might be lifting their finger up just this tiny bit. This is not an exercise for keeping your fingers close to the fingerboard. This is an exercise to use all your muscles. So you will be lifting very high and dropping. Now there are 2 ways to do the drop. You can either do this drop just however you would drop to play a note, just like normal speed and pressure. You can also go with an accented finger dropping and gradually increase how much accent you're doing there. That will tire the hand out more. So you can progress through the gentle dropping, more firm, more like an accent, as you get stronger. So that's up to you to decide when you feel like you're not getting anything from the exercise anymore, and you can increase the speed of the finger. In general though, the exercise should be played slowly, because that's another thing. They'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're barely moving the finger, and they're moving it very quickly. That is not what we want to see. We want to be moving the finger slowly up, and you can drop down, like I said, with an accent, but still the tempo of the exercise should stay slow. So that's the more simplified version. The more advanced version is very nearly the same. All you're going to do is you're going to take your 1st finger when you lift it off, and instead of dropping it on the A string, where all your other fingers are, you're going to lift and you're going to drop it onto the D string, and you're going to lift and drop onto the D 8 times. And all the same rules apply here. Good posture, good position. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Don't Tens up, don't bring everything up when you're practicing this. So keep everything relaxed and just lift and drop and gradually increase the attack if you start to feel like this exercise is not giving you a workout anymore. So you go through all 4 fingers that way and you work your way across the strings. A little bit of advice on how to practice these to make sure you don't hurt the hand. The first one is pretty basic and you're not doing anything too wild with the hand. But if you over practice it or if you're extremely tense, you could still hurt your hand. So there's a few things you want to listen for. Yes, you should be feeling a burn in the muscle because otherwise the muscle isn't being challenged and you're not going to get stronger from the exercise. But it should not ache and it should not twinge and it shouldn't cramp. So if you're experiencing anything like that, you need to stop immediately because you do not want to hurt yourself. There's no point in overdoing these exercises because that will happen is the next day you won't be able to do anything. If you're lucky, only one day, maybe several days. So in the long run, you just lose progress. So small doses are very effective, but overdoing it defeats the purpose. So remember, a few points. Slow. Do not rush through these exercises. Lift your finger up pretty high. Maintain the posture of all the fingers that are on the fingerboard while you're lifting and dropping whichever one you're happening to practice at that moment. So complete maintenance of posture while you're doing this. Definitely the hardest one for that is the 4th finger. 4th finger likes to collapse a little bit. So you can work on that. Remember, stay relaxed and pay attention to how it's feeling so that you know when you've had enough and you stop and just gradually progress. Now, if you have any questions at all, we'll put some, we'll do a post on our stories where you can ask us something about the flesh and maybe we'll do a video response or we'll just send a quick message to you to make sure that you're doing it correctly. So if you have any questions, you can let us know. So I'm going to put my violin down and I will switch places with Adam so you can see this on the cello.
Hey guys, so I'm going to be showing you the Erstradien for cello, which is not, I was surprised to see not available anywhere on IMSLP or anywhere on the internet. No one's arranged it. So I have on our website, Duo.Hansen.com, you can follow the link in the bio, the Erstradien, the first section A for cello. And it looks a little different than if you look at the original violin version. I have it written in 2 staves to try to make it so it's a little bit easier to see. The difficulty is that for each of our fingers, it's not necessarily a different letter name as it is on the violin or the viola. So it's kind of muddy to see, but we'll talk about how to do it and then you'll understand how it all works as you read it. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to put all 4 fingers down on our G string, nice and round fingers on their tips, none of this flat finger kind of nonsense. And then we'll be lifting our first finger up as high as it can go and placing it down on the C string. And you can do this with just enough pressure to get the string down, or you can do this with a little click. And make sure as you do this that there's no extra tension in the thumb. The thumb should not be pushing up into the wood of the neck at all. In fact, you can even practice it every time you hit. You allow that thumb to come away a little bit. And this will train you to use the gravity of the arm, the weight of the arm, instead of any kind of pinching motion. So it'll help to relax that hand a little bit. So you'll then do that measure, moving that first finger up and down. And then you'll keep that first finger down on that C string, lift the second finger, and then plant that down on that string. And you'll just follow those measures through. The third finger, which is always the hardest finger to do. And then you'll do the 4th finger. And you'll travel all the way up through the different strings, and then as it comes back down, we get more complicated finger patterns, like spread all across and lifting the 3rd finger, or lifting the 2nd finger. So we have that spatial difference across the strings to add an extra exercise in the hand. All right, so that's the first exercise. We'll be doing more of the exercises as the month progresses. I'll make sure to upload those PDFs so you can see the arrangements, and we'll be doing more of them. Let us know if you have any questions.